People want to know what positions they can use, whether they have an average size or smaller than average penis, to potentially stimulate a woman very deeply. And today, I'm going to share a method that completely changes how you approach positions. It's not about memorizing 100 different positions from some book. It's about understanding that there are really only 5 core positions, and everything else is just a variation. I'm Dr. Emma Blake, your trusted men's health advisor, and make sure you watch closely because what I'm about to share, the A/B testing method, will help you discover exactly what works for your unique body and your partner's unique body. If you want to stop guessing and start knowing what actually works in bed, hit that subscribe button because what we're covering today is based on real experimentation and anatomical science. Here's what most people don't realize. I used to think that the positions conversation was really overrated because people come in and they want a position, right? Like, what should I do? And my thinking was always that there are only 5 positions total and everything else is a variation. So I went out and bought every book I could find that was like 107 sex positions or whatever. And I went out to kind of prove myself either right or wrong as an open researcher. I had a hypothesis. I think there's only 5 positions. And what I found is that there are way more athletic positions that even fitness devotees can't sustain. But if you rule those out, if you rule out the acrobatic positions, there really are maybe 5 positions for you to focus on, and every other piece of that is adjustment. So what I recommend is that you get into the mindset of doing A/B tests, by which I mean, do you like option A or do you like option B more? Let me give you an example using missionary position. Option A is missionary flat on a bed. Option B is missionary with a pillow under her hips. If B wins the initial test, then you make another A/B test. Then you move the pillow up a little bit or down a little bit, and those become A and B. Then you try a thicker pillow and a thinner pillow, and that becomes A and B. Or you try a thicker wedge and a smaller wedge, and those become A and B. In order to really find the positions that work for your individual bodies, testing is the best way, and I think the most neutral way. You're just collecting data in order to figure out what works best for you. And especially as you age and you collect injuries, or even if it's just a Tuesday and you slept kind of funny, you don't have to have a chronic condition to benefit from making these micro adjustments. On top of that, here's something most people don't think about. If you have a partner who is very lubricated, whether you added a lot of lube or she's just naturally very wet, then it's always a possibility to remove a little bit of lubrication to increase friction. This is something I saw a lot in research. People actually benefited from taking a small towel or a paper towel and just gently tapping, removing some of the wetness to create a little bit more friction, only if it works for both partners. This is something you can utilize as you're exploring these various positions, because that actually makes a tremendous difference on both people's sensations. The amount of lubrication directly impacts the level of friction, and friction impacts the intensity of sensation for both partners. The other piece of this is that any position where her legs are going to be closer together is going to create a different amount of sensation, both for her and for you. So if she has a lot of trouble reaching orgasm during penetration, try positions that allow her to vary and test the width of her legs and the openness of her legs. This changes the shape of the vaginal canal and changes what nerves and what nerve endings are being stimulated in each of those various positions. When her legs are closer together, the vaginal canal becomes tighter, which creates more friction and different angles of stimulation. When her legs are wider apart, the angle changes completely and different areas get stimulated. And then lastly, experiment with testing the angle that the 2 bodies are together and how they're connecting. Because here's something fascinating that most people don't know. There are actually 8 different general types of penises and 8 different general types of vaginas, according to ancient traditions. And all of human anatomy falls somewhere on those spectrums. But it can also be a mix of any of them. So maybe there's actually an infinite number, which is closer to the truth. But if you think about it like that, then you don't really even need to know what type you are or what type your partner is to know that all of those different anatomies are going to come together differently. And especially when men want to compare themselves to adult film stars or her previous lovers, or they want to compare her body to their previous lovers' bodies. The truth is, it's not just small variations in anatomy. There are people who have hooded clitorises and longer vaginal canals. There are folks who have vaginas that tend to be drier, and they tend to reach orgasm a lot more quickly. You are combining something that is so unique and so individual on one person with something that is equally unique and individual on another. The only way to figure out how these two bodies go together is to trial and see what happens. Everyone has their own fit. Everyone has their own connection. Yes, the vagina is very flexible, and it can accommodate a wide variety of sizes, but it is certainly a specific size, and some women will achieve orgasm more easily than others. There are actually differences in the distance between the clitoris and the vaginal canal. Ultrasound studies have shown that some people have thicker tissue, some people have thinner tissue. There's a whole bunch of variations that go into how sensitive a partner is and how lubricated they are. So yeah, it's worth it to try different variations. And I would just add one thing. Don't try necessarily everything you see in adult films, because that is the highest level of what abilities are sexually. But also, they have a team. They have a camera that's paused and turned back on. They have warm-up routines. That would be like going to Cirque du Soleil and then leaving and being like, I think we should do acrobatic backbends now, honey. No, those folks warm up. They're trained. They also generally have medical professionals that support them because they get injured a lot doing those things. And you may not see that because that all happens during the 10 years that it took them to get to that stage. You don't get to skip the 10 years and just go straight to the finish line and expect the same from your body. One of the things I recommend is literally doing warm-ups together with your partner. This gets you in sync. You're breathing together, you're moving together, and then you go into trying the various positions and the different modifications. Synchrony is actually really important. There's actual science on synchrony and how when you're intimate with a partner, everything starts to synchronize. Your breathing, your movements, your heart rates. So warming up together is a great way to create that connection before you even get to the bedroom. One of my favorite things to recommend is taking the yoga class together or going partner dancing together. Anything where you're literally moving and breathing together, sweating together. When couples do either one of those activities, the intimacy they have afterward is often exceptional. And it's not because they did anything differently in the bedroom. It's all the ways that they got in sync outside of the bedroom first. Now here's something crucial that impacts all of this: blood flow and circulation. Because no matter what position you're in, no matter how perfectly you've adjusted the angle or the leg width or the lubrication, if blood isn't flowing properly to your genitals, arousal becomes difficult and performance suffers. And here's what most men don't realize. Nitric oxide production naturally declines as you age, just like testosterone does. Nitric oxide is the molecule that relaxes and dilates your blood vessels so blood can flow easily to your genitals. Less nitric oxide means weaker firmness, reduced sensitivity, and difficulty maintaining what you need to perform in any position. That's why I recommend our organic watermelon extract supplement. Watermelon is one of nature's richest sources of L-citrulline, an amino acid that your body converts into L-arginine and then into nitric oxide. Research shows that citrulline is actually more effective than arginine at increasing nitric oxide synthesis because it bypasses liver metabolism and goes directly into the bloodstream. What makes our watermelon extract different is that it's organic and pesticide-free, not the cheap lab-made citrulline from China that most supplements use. Those are often made by fermenting corn in big tanks with bacteria, and the pesticides on the corn end up in the white powders used in bulk supplements. Our organic watermelon extract is made in the USA from real watermelon with no synthetic chemicals or pesticides. More nitric oxide means better blood flow to your entire body, including your genitals. That means firmer erections, better sensitivity, and the ability to maintain what you need for as long as she needs it, regardless of which position you're in. You'll find our organic watermelon extract linked in the description below. Here's the bottom line. The A-B testing method, testing small variations in positions, angles, leg width, lubrication, and connection, is how you discover what actually works for your unique bodies. There really are only about 5 core positions: missionary, woman on top, Dobby style, side by side, and standing. Everything else is just a variation of those 5. But within those 5 positions, there are infinite micro adjustments you can make: pillow height, pillow placement, leg width, leg angle, body angle, amount of lubrication, speed of movement, depth of penetration. All of these are variables you can test. Don't try to copy what you see in films. Don't assume what worked with a previous partner will work with a new partner. Every body is different. Every combination is unique. The only way to find what works for you and your partner is to test, adjust, and test again. Try the A-B testing method the next time you're intimate. Start with one core position, make one small adjustment, and ask, do you like A or B better? Keep testing until you find exactly what works. Pay attention to angles, lead position, lubrication, and how your bodies connect. That's when everything clicks. If this gave you strategies you've never heard before, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment and tell me if you've ever tried systematically testing positions like this. I read every single one. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep taking care of yourself.